stuff all the time. Have you encountered critics that, or do you have a way of encountering critics that say, like, why are you just making more stuff?
Yeah, why are we making more stuff? Why do we need another chair? Why do you need another chair? And actually, this is not by me, but I was talking to a friend of mine, Ross Lovegrove, and he was saying, well, why do we need another book? For me, every time we make a new product, it could actually bring a very significant solution to the problems of today, whether it's sustainability and, as I said, low energy consumption, right? If we never designed another chair or another house, well, ergonomically, we wouldn't have things that are a lot better today, but also from an environmental standpoint, we wouldn't have a lot of things that are better today. The fact that we have found ways to get away from chroming, for example, which is an extremely dirty and bad sort of, environmentally speaking, process, and that we can do things with new polishing, with new polishing techniques. That is only here today because companies like Herman Miller's and other are working on design for the environment, DFE standards. So we need another. I always respond by we need another chair, and we do need another car. We do need new cars that run on electricity. Absolutely. I mean, in fact, this is, I think, the first time that technology and enterprise is not ahead of consumer desire, but actually behind what people really want. Behind sort of this desire for things that are that just reflect people's concerns.
Finally, I wonder, in asking you have such a diverse range of projects that are floating by here. Those are the Y water bottles, by the way, that snap together. I wonder if somebody looked at a decade of Fuse project, if you put it all together in a row, do you see a thread that connects these sort of disparate objects?
For me, the thread has to be the ideas and the conceptual part. I think, like any designer or artist, in a way, that long view, sort of this, the critic's kind of eye over your own work. In a way, it's something maybe for me or for other people to do later. In a sense, I think it's important for us to dive into the work, sort of passionately, to have a perspective, to have a set of ideas, but also to see where it takes us. I mean, I do these projects and I have absolutely no idea what my next project is going to be and why somebody is calling me. But somehow they saw a link between an area I've worked in and an area I haven't worked in, and they find a connection and they feel like there's something unique that's going to come out of putting technology in lighting, or out of thinking about a cell phone in a sustainable way. So there is a thread. I mean, I believe technology and environmental concerns are part of the tools and certainly the glue that designers can use in order to create the next relevant products and the next relevant things that are important in our lives. But while it's important to be a good editor of your own work, I think initially it's also good to just put it out there and see what happens and where it leads you, where it takes you.
Sure. Is there anything that you can tell us about that we can look for on the horizon that you're excited about?
Yeah, I'm very, very excited about continuation, actually. I mean, and this is something that I believe, and I think that is what we were talking about, this continuity, working with a company and continuing to work with a company and trying to build a great legacy, for them and for you as far as your involvement with those companies. I'm really excited actually about the next steps of what it is we're doing at Jawbone, the next steps of what it is we're doing with Herman Miller, the next adventure on some of these experimental pieces. You see one there that was done with Swarovski. There's another one that was shown here that was done with Samsung, for example. I think it's taking us some really, really sort of interesting places. And as far as jumping off to completely new areas, there's a few on the horizon, but I don't want to jinx them either.
What if you were say you were starting out your career now, or if you have some advice for people who are just starting out, what would you tell them?
I would say that what's really great in design is we don't all have to practice in the same way. If you look at the diversity of the designers that you appreciate and their approach, it's actually so wide and so far-ranging, and I don't think you find that in most other professions. You know, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, it's not like you can practice in vastly, different ways, right? But I think in design, there's really still the opportunity to invent your own way to design, to invent your own way of creating a business. There's a lot of architects here who now are their own builder or their own prefab company. There's a lot of designers who are starting their own businesses or creating partnerships or working as consultants. I mean, I think the options are so vast and the field is is so open that what's key is simply finding your own way. And that's what I try to tell my students. Don't design like someone else. Just really try to find what's, this passion, this inner drive, because because there is room for it. So there is room for other perspectives.
That's great. Thank you so much, Yves, for joining us. Let's give a round of applause.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Nice one.
I think we're going to bring out Brigitte Lohman from Design Boom next to talk about kitchen ecology, which is a great exhibition we have down the aisle that way that you should go check out if you haven't already. So hopefully Brigitte is ready to